link up, baby. You just hit my line for the wind down. There's only one thing on my mind when you come around me. I get lost in where you found me. Want you to use me. You let her confuse me. Don't wanna hide the fact that you make me feel away. Want you to give me play. I see it in your eyes, you're lonely. Come put that body on me. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. They can't do you like I will. Nobody do you like I will. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. They can't do you like I will. They can't do you like I will. Like I will.
I treat you right, I will.
I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I treat you right, I will.
I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel.
I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. They can't do you like I will.
Like I will.
Like I will. Pick up the phone, little baby. You got me up and I'm wavy. You know I want you to myself. You know you've been driving me crazy. Looking me right in the eye and tell me it's mine. If not, I'ma make it that way. You know I want you in a major way. I bless that body, make you share your grace. I've been trying to get you face to face. Wanna fall through and give you ways to waste. I do what it takes. I make them walls sing on your heartstrings. Say your
I treat you right, I will. I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby.
Know how to make you feel. I treat you right, I will.
I hit it right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby.
Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby.
I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby.
Know how to make you feel.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again. Actually, not once again, for the last time in 2023. So shout out to everybody who is in the building. It is good to see y'all. Hopefully y'all staying safe. Hopefully y'all enjoying y'all day. And hopefully y'all got plans to enjoy your night. So shout out to everybody, man. It's good to see everybody in the building. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, give me a thumbs down or an angry face, and I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. We got Janesta Coleman in the house. We got Wallow J. We got Carlton Way. We got the chair user, hello. We got Shamika Gray. Man, if we had Wallow J, Carlton Way, and Shamika Gray all in a row, that's bars. You know what I'm saying? We got David Brown in the house. Shout out to you, bro. We got Volvo to Love in the building. We got Dora Malahe. Good to see you, Dora. We got NY State of Mind. Shout out to you, bro. We got Vega in the house. Shout out to you, Vega. We got DSB. Shout out to DSB with the ducats already. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Starting the stream off with the stream sponsor. That's what's good. Definitely appreciate it. All right, Denise got me dying down here. I didn't know your nickname was Nisi. Now, Nisi, that's Nisi, man, that's a certified FBA female nickname, man. For anybody like that Nisi is like the female Red or the female June. You know what I'm saying? If you ADOS or if you foundational Black American, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Denise, you know what I'm saying? Nisi, man, that's hilarious. That's what's good. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I ain't lying. Shout out to my man Christopher Perkins. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see you, bro. All right, so we gonna get into it, man. we're not going to play any clips from Fox News. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know about the rant. Hey, shout out to Deneen. What's good with it, Deneen? Hope everything is going good for you and you got some good stuff planned for later on tonight. So we all know that Fox News had a conniption because Brandon Johnson mentioned reparations. And of course, he mentioned it in a completely incorrect, diluted way, just throwing it out there, nothing specific about it, just throwing it out there as some nonsense in response to crime. Now, even though we know that crime is directly correlated to the economic conditions of the area and of the people that people reside in, we know that those are not the parameters of reparations. Reparations are due a debt owed as a result of an injustice that occurred for centuries against Black people who now make up foundational Black Americans here in the United States. It is a specific debt owed for centuries of unpaid labor. That's what it is. It don't have anything to do with crime. It don't have anything to do with anything else. Lineage based. Trace your ancestors back to the plantation or back to the census. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is, right? We all know this. Fox News had a conniption over the mention of it. Shout out to Tori and Rain. What's good with it, bro? All they did was mention it. And this is what I'm talking about right here, about how these people will blow their top and flip the lid off of a mention of reparations. Something that the only people who have gotten a dime of are the people who owned the slaves, the people who benefited from Jim Crow. Only them. They're the only people that got any compensation for their losses, which is amazing because they didn't lose anything. They made tons of legacy money that their children are still spending and benefiting from today, and that others are still benefiting from either through stocks that they owned from working at those companies or from the communities that those companies built. A lot of the New York Stock Exchange, the blue chip companies, many of those companies can be traced all the way back to the slavery days, benefiting from Jim Crow, benefiting from asset seizure. You know what I'm saying? But as much as Fox News likes to talk about something that we haven't got, one thing that Fox News hasn't talked about is something that other people have got. How many people have heard of Medi-Cal? I know that we got some people from California in the building. Shout out to the California West Side. I know all y'all heard of Medi-Cal. If you've heard of Medi-Cal, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys have not heard of Medi-Cal, give me a thumbs down. We're going to talk about Medi-Cal. And the reason why we're going to talk about Medi-Cal is because the state of California already has a serious budget deficit. A serious budget deficit. What's the problem with that? The problem with that is most of the states that are newly experiencing firsthand issues with the migrant crisis, most of those states started the fiscal year with a surplus, which means that they had a positive amount of money to start with. And the migrant crisis has sent them into a deficit, which means they now are working with a negative amount of money. The balance sheet is imbalanced on the liability side for the most part. The cash flow statement is unbalanced on the expenses side for the most part, for my people in the business world. You know what I'm saying? California already has a huge deficit. Now they're going to be allocating more money, charging taxpayers even more money to provide insurance, not to citizen, naturalized, documented residents of California, but take a wild guess who. I'll let me know in the comment section. And real quick, shout out to everybody. I appreciate y'all. If you guys have not smashed that like button, wherever you're watching from, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment and hit the bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. Shout out to Wallow J. Throw some flames in the chat for Wallow J. Migrants, but not just any type of migrants. You know what I'm saying? It's like chicken. It's not just any type of chicken. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the wings. It's not just the thighs. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the breast. It's the tenderloin. Undocumented migrants. The undocumented bros. California becomes the first state to offer health insurance to all undocumented adults. Now, how much does it cost? And I'll give you all a hint. The amount of money that it costs is the same as the title as the last episode of Undocumented. There's your hint. Don't say I didn't give you all anything for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? For the first time, undocumented immigrants of all ages will qualify for Medi-Cal, California's version of the federal government's Medicaid program for quote-unquote low-income people. The new guidelines will make California the only state to fund comprehensive health care for undocumented immigrants beginning January 1st of 2024. So now, here's my question for you guys. When it says California will fund comprehensive health care for undocumented immigrants, what does that mean? Who's going to be paying that bill? When they slide that receipt over to the table, who's going to be dropping a credit card on it and signing it and then handing it back? New guidelines will make California the only state to fund comprehensive health care for undocumented immigrants beginning January 1st of 2024. Now, is that going to make taxes increase or is that going to make taxes decrease? Also, what's that going to do to the state budget? The historic investment speaks to California's commitment to healthcare as a human right, said Senator Maria Elena Durazo in a statement. Now, that's interesting, right? Because this does not extend any kind of healthcare benefit to documented citizens of California who are actually citizens of California. This is extending healthcare to people who technically are not citizens of California. So now here it says Governor Gavin Newsom. Now, I want to ask y'all this. We're going to ask the basic questions. Governor Gavin Newsom was involved in this. Governor Gavin Newsom was also involved in the reparations hearings in California. Did they do a study to see how this would affect the taxpayers of California? Did they do a study to see how many tax-paying Californians need Medi-Cal or any type of Medi-Cal expansion? What kind of studies were done for this? How many people have seen them cry and whine and turn and flip and flop about this on Fox News? Man, they are real quiet about this. Governor Gavin Newsom announced in May that a new budget deal with the legislature included Medi-Cal expansion that would cover more undocumented adults. Because the thing is that this part right here, including 26 through 49-year-olds, they weren't part of who was already included. Undocumented people who were older than 50 were already included. How many people knew that? Nobody talks about how divisive this would be. This is definitely divisive. I mean, look what it's doing to Chicago. No, they like to talk about Chicago so doggone much. I mean, this is divisive. Look what it's doing in Chicago. You got older men and women getting snatched up off the street, little kids passing away at migrant shelters, people all over the place. Like Beyonce said, where they at? Where they at? The program expansion is expected to provide health care coverage for about 700,000 undocumented residents between the ages of 26 and 49, according to Senator Durazo. In 2015, the state began to allow undocumented children to receive health care through Medi-Cal, and then in 2019, the eligibility guidelines were extended to include those 26 years old or younger. So as you guys can see here, they started out with, well, this will just be for children, and then we're going to move it up the age ranges until we cover everybody, which I would not be surprised if they had some type of cascading plan like that for dreamers that we don't know about. But if we observe, we'll see it occur over time, which is one of the reasons why it's important to follow up on this kind of stuff and pay attention to how these things evolve over time, because there is no evolution of these things. They always have a beginning point and an end point, and what you see in the incremental process is how they try to slowly lead it into that point, and they do it slow to try to make it so people don't notice it. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you what I do notice. I noticed them 5 ducats that Denise just hooked your boy up with. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure that you guys please show her some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for her. She is the second stream sponsor. Shout out to her and DSB. Definitely appreciate y'all. So now here it says in May of 2022, a California law allowed undocumented adults of 50 and older to receive health care through the program. So as you can see, they're getting the age ranges in small pieces. All right, so we're going to run this back. In 2015, the state allowed undocumented children. So this is pediatric care, right? Now then in 2019 is 26 and younger. And if you guys know how insurance works, 26 and younger, for the most part, counts as adolescent care. Now, they left out a big segment. They jumped from 26 to 50. In May of 2022, a California law allowed undocumented adults 50 or older to receive health care. So now they got this gap in between 26 and 50, and this gap between 26 and 50 is who they cover right here. Now it covers all undocumented adults. So you see how they did that in little pieces? They did that in little pieces so that people wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, you guys covered all these undocumented people. Now we're going to do 1 through 10. We're going to do 10 through 20. We're going to do 20 through 30. We're going to do 30 through 40. We're going to do 40 through 50. And we're going to do it over a period of about 15, 20 years so that people ain't really paying attention to it all like that. We're going to vote this in right here, then we're going to fall back. We're going to vote this in right here, then we're going to fall back. We're going to vote this in right here, then we're going to fall back. And then we're going to wait even longer. And then after everybody really forgot about it, then we're going to lay that final, you know what I'm saying, icing on the cake and call it a day. Facts to Robert Banks. They feed you the bowl of crap in increments. Fact, they just drop little crap sprinkles. Remember how kid's father on House Party, he said, follow the drip, follow the drip. They just, sprinkle a little bit like Sugar T and E40 in the click. Sprinkle me. Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Here, there. You know what I'm saying? Little breadcrumbs like the gingerbread man. Like you feeding a pigeon. And then next thing you know, you ate a whole piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, however, plans to expand Medi-Cal program have not come without its criticism. Medi-Cal is already strained by serving 14.6 million Californians, more than a third of the state's population. Now, mind you, this 14.6 million, this number right here is not divided between who is a documented California citizen versus who is an undocumented citizen. This is listing the entire population and saying they're serving all of these people. So you got to ask yourself the question, well, why are you serving all these people? You know what I'm saying? That's why would you serve all them people? You know what I mean? Adding some 764,000. Now, what they added was 764,000, which is, that's basically about, 3/4 of a million, more individuals to the system will certainly exacerbate current provider access problems. The California Senate Republicans wrote in response to Newsom's budget proposal. The latest Medi-Cal expansion is expected to cost a whopping $2.6 billion annually. Now, mind you, California is the state where we got to talk about the budget when it comes to paying reparations. But mind you, right? Mind you, that California has an economy that's larger than a lot of countries. If I'm not mistaken, I think California might have like in the top 10 economies in the world, and it's a state inside of the United States. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man Cole Obsidian Plays Gaming and Music, who gifted a membership. Definitely appreciate it. Looks like he gifted a membership to Robert Banks. Shout out to Robert Banks for becoming a member. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Ricky12. What's good with it, bro? So now here it says California's budget deficit also increased to $68 billion. Look at this. How are they gonna balance this budget? Shout out to Katsy. What's good with it, Katsy? How are they gonna balance this budget right here? California's budget has also increased to $68 billion in recent months due to months of unexpectedly low tax revenues. They got low tax revenues, and they expect to be able to do this Medicaid overhaul to provide for all these additional people. Make it make sense. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, also shout out to Kiko 410. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Make sure you guys throw some double radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for Kiko 410 because he joined the membership on this channel and he hooked your boy up with the $5 super sticker. Definitely appreciate it. And you guys know I put everything back into the channel. So I definitely appreciate y'all. Y'all know how I go, man. That's why I be trying to, you know what I'm saying? I be trying to put it out for y'all. I be trying to drop that content like Tupac dropped albums. You know what I'm saying? And I try to make them all dope like how Tupac's album was dope too. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, according to a new analysis from the Legislative Analyst Office released in December, the latest deficit figure far exceeds the $14.3 billion estimate from June, according to a report from Politico. So as you can see, California is in the tank, right? They actually, technically, they don't have the money to be doing this. See, here's the thing. When these people be saying they don't have the money to do something, and shout out to Rick C. What's good with you, bro? When these people say they don't have the money to do something, they actually don't have the money to do it, but they just print it up or they just make up a reason and somehow do it anyway, whether they spend the money on credit or they come up with some type of contract or make some type of arrangements. The point is they lie about the money and then they just make it happen anyway. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Denise. We need the mixtape. Yeah, facts. You know what? Listen, hey, and real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Deneen for dropping the 50 ducats on the Streamlabs. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all show her some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat. Deneen always coming with them heavy hits. You know what I'm saying? So please make sure y'all show her some love. Definitely appreciate it. So now here it says, even though more people will be included in the Medi-Cal program beginning on January 1st. Oh, here goes a study. We got one. A study published in the International Journal of Health Services found that immigrants use fewer healthcare resources than non-immigrants. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Of course they would use less resources because they don't have the documents to provide to be able to get full access. I don't know why they say some of the things that they say sometimes. So we're going to check out another article. And to the people that watch the Undocumented channel, We talked about this article here on Undocumented, but we're just going to run through it again real quick just for a thorough review. And real quick, also, ladies and gentlemen, we got 64 people watching. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you guys have not hit that like button, please make sure y'all hit that like button. And also make sure, if you're not subscribed to the channel, that you please hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to J-Dub. Man, we got both of the brothers from Canada in the building. Shout out to Canada. We got JW in the house, and we got Black Bitcoin Key. What's good with y'all? So now here it says California becomes the first state to offer health insurance to all eligible undocumented adults. So on the undocumented channel, when we read this, the first thing that I asked is, how are you eligible if you're undocumented? If you don't have documents to prove your identity, how are you eligible? There's all kind of information that you got to do just to get a regular health insurance policy. I'm going to ask you all this question. For the people who use health insurance or the people who have health insurance, what are the things that you had to provide your insurance provider in order to get health insurance? Did you have to give them a copy of your driver's license? Did you have to give them a social security card? Did you have to give them a copy of your birth certificate? Did you have to give them a copy of your medical record? Did you have to give them a copy of your address? Did you have to give them a copy of where you work at? Did you have to give them a copy of your past medical history? What all did y'all have to provide them? Now, here's my question. Much of that information cannot be proven if you don't have any documents, and much of that information cannot even be provided if you don't have any documents. Right. And shout out to Katsy and shout out to Denise. Proof of your identity. Absolutely. Katsy says mine is through work, so everything work has, they probably got. Right. So when they do open enrollment, you sit down and they ask you the questions. What's your name? You tell them your name. What's your birthday? You tell them your birthday. What's your address? You tell them your address. They need the social security number. Then right, because insurance in many cases is a before tax thing that they take out. You need the tax information. They need the I-9 information and all that. How you got I-9 information if you're undocumented? Oh, that's right, because they work illegally. So we show the illegal I-9 that they have. And then because it's a sanctuary city, we don't cooperate with the feds and, you know what I'm saying, do that return to sender type thing. You know what I mean? You got to go to the doctor's office. You got to show your card. You got to pay a copay. Whatever identification is necessary. If you paying a copay with a credit card or whatever, they might ask for a license. They might not. You got to have information on file, emergency contact, allergies. Do these people know they allergies? Leave it to Brandon Johnson. He said they coming over here sick. What kind of sicknesses do y'all got? What kind of medical history do y'all got? You know what I'm saying? Somebody make it make sense. You can try, but it's going to be a really difficult case to try to make it make sense. So now here it says Perla Lopez hands a stack of papers to Baudillo. Now this is already problematic because homeboy only got one name. We doing the Wolverine thing like Logan, or are we doing the Thor thing like Thor? Because what is Thor's last name? Everybody else got a last name. You know what I'm saying? Captain America, Steve Rogers. You know what I'm saying? Spawn is Al Simmons. You know what I'm saying? I think Blade got one name. His name Blade. Whistler got one name. His name Whistler. Apocalypse got one name. His name Apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? Nah, Apocalypse actually got a name. His name like Al Shafar Shabazz, something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? Apocalypse got one of them old Nebuchadnezzar sounding names. But it's like 5 of them. So I lied about Apocalypse. I'm wrong about him. You know what I'm saying? Spider-Man, Peter Parker. You know what I mean? But homeboy right here only has one name. Now, usually these names have, there's like 4 names. But because you don't have any documents, there's no way to prove it. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Dora Mahali with the $10 super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Please make sure you guys show her some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat. Definitely appreciate it. Y'all showing love, and I definitely appreciate it. She handed him a stack of papers. Now, this story actually has a twist. Perla Lopez, remember her name, hands a stack of papers to Baudillo, a 44-year-old undocumented immigrant and day laborer. She has just helped him apply for Medi-Cal at the Benefits Center at St. John's Community Health in South Los Angeles. Now, here goes my question. 2 events in the United States. Shout out to my man Rogish. What's good with it, bro? 2 events in the United States I want to ask about. After slavery, did we get free health insurance? Did we get benefits? Did we get any type of anything for low income? Because, I mean, centuries of working for free, that's pretty damn low income. After Jim Crow, was there any kind of free insurance? Now, mind you, that's specifically for a group of people, because this is specifically for undocumented migrants. Now, mind you, immigration status is a protected class. Race, creed, religion, gender identity, and immigration status. Those are protected classes. So what that means is that this is dealing with a particular protected class. The same way the AAPI hate legislation dealt with the AAPI community, and the same way any type of legislation for the LGBTQ community directly deals with them. So now notice when we come and we talk about all of these things and we give all of these examples, none of these examples, all of a sudden, none of them matter. We can tell you about specific tribes of indigenous people who've gotten money from the United States government for settlements, for land, to buy casinos, reservations. They got a different type of status than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Under federal trust authority, where they only deal with the federal police and they police their own people on the reservation land that's allocated. They have all kinds of things in place that we don't have. Make it make sense. So now here it says, if you see anything you don't understand from the country, come back here, Lopez tells Baudillo in Spanish. The application takes less than 20 minutes. The paperwork, though brief, marks a major milestone in California's decade-long, now see this, in California's decades-long expansion of healthcare for undocumented immigrants. How many people knew that this was going on for decades? This has been going on for a while now. Shout out to Robb from Denver. What's good with it, bro? If you guys were aware that this has been going on for a while now, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not know that this had been going on for a while, then give me a thumbs down. This was going on for decades. And see, now it's come to a head because of all of the migrant flooding. Now, I'm going to ask y'all this. Is this an invitation that says, come to the United States? With California having stuff like this, when they interview those migrants on the southern border, I don't even know why any of them say they're going to go to any other state other than California. One of the main things that you need at the least is healthcare to be able to keep yourself healthy. I would be telling people I'm going to California. Who's flying who to California? Do I gotta get a flight to New York and have Eric Adams and the New York City residents pay for my flight to California? Do I gotta go to Chicago and have Brandon Johnson and them pay for my flight to Chicago? Or is Abbott gonna fly me out there direct? That's the only question that I'd be asking. And anything else? No comprende. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says beginning January 1st, for the first time, undocumented immigrants of all ages will qualify for Medi-Cal, the state's health insurance program for extremely low-income people. It makes California the only state to fund comprehensive health care for undocumented immigrants. Now, let me ask you guys this question. If the state of California is doing this and they run a deficit and they get flooded with migrants from the southern border because Governor Abbott is shipping them out express and he happened to hit San Diego real hard, should California be allowed to ask the federal government for money? Because, see, once these states start asking for the federal government for money, who has to pay for that? That's my question for you guys. Once the federal government starts getting involved and they start writing checks and sending people money, who's paying for this? Even if you don't live in a sanctuary city, guess who's paying for that? Baudillo, who has been denied coverage before and asked that his last name not be published to protect him from immigration authorities, which now, again, he's in California, and California's got the sanctuary policies. They're not gonna cooperate with immigration authorities anyway, so you don't need to hide anything. So now here it says, will join more than 700,000 undocumented immigrants between the ages of 26 and 49 who will become eligible for Medi-Cal as part of the state's final expansion of the program, the realization of a long-awaited dream for Californians without legal status to give free health care. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Anybody that pays for their health care, we got 66 people in here. When you go to the doctor's office for a visit with your family doctor, how much is your copay? How much is your copay? Now, every state doesn't have Medi-Cal because Medi-Cal is specific to California. But if you come in contact with anybody that has Medicare, ask them how much their copay is. How many people have heard of a flexible spending account? If you've ever heard of a flexible spending account, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys have never ever heard of a flexible spending account, give me a thumbs down. Oh yeah, they got the medication is covered too, JW. Flexible spending accounts occurred because things like copay and out of pocket and out of network expenses are too expensive for people that have private insurance, like Anthem, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. Shout out to Sybil. What's good with it? Shout out to Cedric Peoples. What's good with it? Yeah. Copay about 30 ducats. Specialist about 75 ducats. No copay on this. The accumulation of literally decades of work, and it's huge, said Sarah Dar, policy director for the California Immigrant Policy Center. It's huge because of all of the work and effort and advocacy that went into making this possible. And it's also huge because of the impact that it's going to have. Governor Gavin Newsom and the state's Democratic-led legislator have, now this is the important part, they have committed more than $4 billion to the Medi-Cal expansion annually. $4 billion every year from here on out until they change it is going to this Medi-Cal expansion. Shout out to Mike TV. What's going on with it, bro? Newsom's 2022 budget made the latest expansion possible, and though the state is now headed into a $68 billion deficit, advocates say the positive impact Medi-Cal will have on individual health is priceless. Can they cite any benefits? Now, I'm sure, of course, if people are healthy, that makes society better. But again, this is only servicing a small segment of society. It's not servicing the entire state of California. It's only servicing the undocumented bros. Now, here goes the plot twist. You guys remember that woman, Paula Lopez, that we talked about up here? This is Paula Lopez. See? Paula Lopez hands a stack of papers to Baudillo. Here go your boy Baudillo with the hat on. He got that old school net mesh baseball cap with the what do you call those? The snapback. That lady herself is undocumented. The change resonates deeply with Lopez, who herself is undocumented. So now here it says last year, when the state expanded Medi-Cal to older immigrants over 50, Lopez's mother was finally able to get medication and blood testing equipment for her diabetes. This year, surrounded by tinsel and other Christmas decorations in the brightly lit office, Lopez is happy she gets to deliver good news to undocumented patients. Now here's my question. Who's going to deliver some good news to documented patients? And again, pay close attention to how no one, even though that, let me ask you guys this. When people bring up reparations, you never even get to the part of the conversation where any budget deficit or surplus is even discussed. This is going on amidst a deficit of $63 billion. They've dedicated, understand this, they've dedicated $4 billion annually, as you guys can see right there, highlighted right there, in the midst of a active $68 billion deficit. So that's like if you have no money in your checkbook and then you write checks for all the bills for the month. Exactly. Facts, Deneen. How do you dedicate money that you don't have? Well, they do it like how they did for this here. But then when they don't have money for reparations, then that ends the conversation. And the reason why that ends the conversation is because it's a one-sided conversation. If we had ways of, quote unquote, applying pressure to put pressure to convince them, I guarantee you those conversations would be a lot different. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys show some love to Mike TV with the 10 ducats. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Mike TV says, I don't watch the news. Thanks for keeping us in the loop. No doubt, bro. Y'all already know the train is moving. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all throw some flames and some radiation emoji in the chat for Mike TV with the 10 ducats. Definitely appreciate it. So now here it says last year, when the state expanded Medi-Cal to older immigrants over 50, Lopez's mother was finally able to get medication and blood testing equipment for her diabetes. This year, surrounded by tinsel and other Christmas decorations in the brightly lit office, Lopez is happy she gets to deliver good news to undocumented patients. It really touches me, said Lopez, who is eligible to work through the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. It's a stressor we take away from them for people with health issues. Medi-Cal really makes a difference. The clinic where Lopez works estimates about 13,000 of its patients will become eligible for Medi-Cal in the new year. They're part of the largest group in California's ambitious plan to close the insurance gap. Now, when they say close the insurance gap, what are they talking about? And don't you guys find it interesting that California is using an active effort? They're putting in active measures to close this insurance gap. And we've known about the racial wealth gap forever. And what is California doing to close that? The thing that was on the table, reparations, most of the people in the government in California was fighting against the task force to try to get it put in place. But now here's my question. Out of all of those people who were fighting against the reparations task force, how many of them fought against this? How many of those staunch opposers, including the NAACP of the California Reparations Task Force reparations proposal, all the people that was fighting against them, how many people fought against this? When they had those town hall meetings and people sounding crazy and saying all kind of babble, how many of them came down and was babbling about this? You know, do you guys notice, like, when reparations comes and is on the table, there's always some weirdos that come there, like after they just shot up some dog food in their arm or something, and start tweaking on the microphone saying crazy stuff. But nobody was tweaking when anybody was talking about any of this. And don't get it twisted, they use dog food. They smoke crack. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys show Mike TV some love again with the $10 super chat, the 10 ducats. He says, we can't even bring up reparations, but we have money for illegals and foreigners, Ukraine, and y'all know that one country that begins with the I, while in a deficit. Thanks for putting it in perspective. No doubt, bro. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all show Mike TV some double love. Definitely appreciate the ducats, bro. Yeah, I gotta agree. Facts, Al. California, American descendants of slaves should be fuming. Facts. You know, those the woman, the family that owned Manhattan Beach should be fuming, because even though they were able to mobilize that property, they weren't able to get the full value out of that property. And that's a family that's been there for generations that actually got their property stolen by the government. All the people that got all of their homes removed by eminent domain. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Los Angeles County alone accounts for roughly half of the enrollees who are expected to qualify for Medi-Cal. It's an exciting moment for our patients as well as us, said Annie Araga, benefits counselor coordinator at St. John's Community Health. They're ready. Many of them are in need or waiting for specialist visits. California's health insurance expansion. The final expansion, look at this. So 9 years. The final expansion comes 9 years after then Governor Jerry Brown signed the law making undocumented children eligible for state insurance in 2015, and is due to the efforts of advocates trekking to the Capitol to plead their case. Now, what makes it different when other people plead their case? What makes it different when other people plead their case? When we talk to people, and here's another question. Why is literally no, like Fox News and none of them is calling these handouts, but this is a literal handout. And mind you, this is a literal handout that has actually been paid. This is in the budget, is already written. You can see this as the line item in the budget. You know what I'm saying? They've already cut checks. Now them checks gonna bounce and go into overdraft because they in a deficit, but they've cut checks. Now here goes my question, right? Somebody or some group of people is funding the push for government support of this. because these people are not. These people will take the money, but they're not supporting Democrats. They don't care. They just want the check. So the question that you got to ask is, who is the American interest? Who is the American business that's funding the Democrats to push them to advocate and get these things put into place? That's where people need to be looking at. And then another thing is, we need to counter that by creating counter organizations. If they got super PACs, we need to start making some counter super PACs. We talked about this before. You know what I'm saying? They got think tanks. We need to make counter think tanks. You feel me? So now here it says, when we talk to people who are impacted by this, the difference it makes in their lives is something they truly remember, and words cannot even describe. Dar with the California Immigrant Policy Center said, in many cases, people have lived for decades without any kind of health care whatsoever. Full scope Medi-Cal, which offers access to primary and preventative care, specialists, pharmaceuticals. So JW, if you're still in the chat, here's the verification: pharmaceuticals and other wraparound services. I wish I had that thing that Kid Gravity said, when I wrap around, I wrap around. I get that Medi-Cal and that service wrap around. I wrap around wrap. My Medi-Cal get me Band-Aids, diabetes needles, and Tylenol. Now how you gonna wrap around that? Will change lives, Dar said. California does not share immigration information with federal authorities. And then see, so again, so this is what I'm saying. The entire state of California does not share immigration information with federal authorities. So why is old boy Bodillo at the beginning of this not giving his last name? He ain't got nothing to worry about. He's protected. the wraparound facts. I'm about to get some pita bread, a round wrap, and get some cold cuts, turkey, and wrap the pita bread around that. And I'm hungry as hell, and eating that sandwich, that's how I'm finna get around that. Oh man, that's hilarious, man. So now let me see where we at. So yeah, here go to enrollees right here. The California Immigrant Policy Center, along with the consumer advocacy group Health Access California, have been the leading force in the campaign to eliminate. Okay, so here's these groups that we was talking about. Get your pad and your pen. The California Immigrant Policy Center. That's entity number 1, along with consumer advocacy group Health Access California. That's entity number 2. Have been the leading force in the campaign to eliminate citizenship requirements for Medi-Cal. When are they going to eliminate monetary health insurance requirements for California residents? See, here goes my thing. If they do this for the undocumented bros, then they should make it free for all the documented bros. I got to agree. I agree with Cedric Peoples. If you guys agree with Cedric Peoples, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Cedric Peoples says both Republicans and Democrats are supporting it. It's to downplay the black community and get cheap labor. Facts. And to dilute the political influence, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Carlton said, let's see who's on the executive board of these organizations. Man, listen, man, I'm about to tell y'all about Carlton real quick. Hold on real quick.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh man, Carlton got them uphill ice skates on. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the work was not easy, even in left-leaning California. That's because this is extreme. Now, I want y'all to here go to play. This is what they're gonna do. What they're gonna do is what California is gonna do. How they're gonna sell this to those liberals out there in California is they're gonna say this is the first step towards universal health care, which if the liberals in California had any sense, they'd respond to that by asking, so then why didn't you give us universal health care? Many moderate Democrats voted against the legislation or refrained from weighing in on a debate in the early days, Dar said, but slowly public opinion and political will shifted. About 66% of California's adults supported health coverage. Now, there was an article from the Mercury Times that we talked about, if you guys recall, and it was an opinion piece that talked about survey numbers in California on reparations. We did that live stream, I want to say maybe about a month and a half ago. Do y'all remember? It's probably on members only now, but we got a ton of members, so members will probably see it on their homepage at some point. But if you guys remember us talking about that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't, give me a thumbs down. I want y'all to just pay close attention to how the same people that call reparations handouts actually support actual handouts. Shout out to John Guillory. What's good with it, bro? The chair user hello says, are you going to use blade clips from Mayor Shala Ali when he stars in the new movie? Probably not. Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. See, the same way that the Transformers can never not be a cartoon for me, Blade can never not be Wesley Snipes for me. You know what I'm saying? It's just, yeah, I think it might be like a generational thing or something like that. You know what I'm saying? %66 of California adults supported the health coverage for undocumented immigrants. So now that's greater than 50%. So now when California runs into serious financial issues because their budget is running on fumes, I don't think that the rest of the United States should support them getting federal money to help with their migrant crisis expenses. Because look how they're spending their money right now. This is very reckless spending, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Very reckless spending. Loco Tina is trolling an OG mod. Let me ask you guys a question. Is that something smart to do? Or is that something that's not so smart to do? Just a question. If you want to continue to type, you probably shouldn't troll mods. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. If you want to continue to if you want to continue to keep typing, it's probably not the best move to make. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes they might not even hit you with the wrench. I might just, the chat just might boom be on members only. You know what I'm saying? That could happen. Yeah, y'all about to put her in detention. Y'all about to put her in an ice facility, an ice box. Talking about cubes. So now here it says in March 2021, up from 54%. So even still, when they had 54%, they still had greater than 50%. The support on reparations has never been higher than 30%, if I'm not mistaken. So again, pay close attention to how the very people that complain about handouts literally are sitting here supporting handouts. These are actual handouts. Now, mind you, many of the people who are getting this broke the law to get to the United States. Make it make sense. So now here it says former Republican President Donald Trump lambasted California's expansion for young adults in 2020 and claimed California and other states would, quote unquote, bankrupt our nation by providing free taxpayer funded health care to millions of illegal aliens. You know how many people have ever heard of that Twitter account called Alex Jones Was Right? If you've ever heard of that Twitter account, give me a thumbs up. If you have not heard of that Twitter account, give me a thumbs down. There's an actual Twitter account called Alex Jones Was Right. I'm curious if there's a Twitter account called Trump Was Right. Because as you read this right here, and then you think about the whining that Eric Adams and Brandon Johnson and all them people are doing, gotta ask yourself the question. You know what I'm saying? Elected California Republicans, though less harsh in their condemnation of the state's immigration policies in recent years, have accused Newsom of overloading the state's budget and Medi-Cal system. Medi-Cal is already strained by serving 14.6 million Californians, more than a third of the state's population. Adding 764,000 more individuals to the system will certainly exacerbate current provider access problems, the Senate Republican caucus said in a January 2022 budget analysis. All right. So we're going to get into numbers because I think that this is extremely important for people to pay close attention to. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 58 people watching. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please take a moment, hit the bell, and subscribe to the channel. And also, please share the stream to your social media. Newsom, for his part, played a critical role in propelling the movement forward. Now, what's different between this and reparations that Newsom can propel this forward, but he gets kind of tongue-tied when it comes to reparations? See, you see it right there. Newsom, for his part, has played a critical role in propelling the movement forward. Now, he can propel this movement forward, but he's lost like a deer in the headlights on any discussion on reparations. Awkward. Not so smooth anymore. At a loss of words. Said Rachel Lynn Gish, communications director for Health Access California. Now, remember, Health Access California is that organization that helped to push for this. Now, I'm curious if Health Access California has any associated super PATs that might have lobbied for Newsom's campaign. See, a lot of the legislation that a lot of these people support, a lot of the legislation that a lot of these people support is part of the business practices attached to the lobbying groups that provide them a lot of the donor money, which is one of the reasons why it's important to start creating a value chain, because that's also a form of passing money around, which is one of the things that we get criticized for not doing. If you got a politician that's your colleague, you got some friends that got an organization, and you set up a nonprofit, you can have a nice little musical money circle going around, which is what they do. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Newsom, who took office in 2019, campaigned on the promise of establishing universal health care in California. I did not tell you. Now it's universal for undocumented bros in California. You see, the gateway to providing universal health care is to bypass the citizens and give it to all the undocumented bros first. Oh, you all good, Cedric. No worries. I'm not trying to miss everybody's comments. It's just that it's going real fast, and I'm switching back and forth from screen to screen. So I apologize that I'm not hitting all the comments. That's growing pains. You know what I'm saying? As the channel gets bigger and we got more people watching, your boy gotta figure out a more efficient way to a more efficient way to catch comments. You know what I'm saying? But don't stop commenting, though. Keep them coming. You know what I'm saying? We need that. So now here it says you cannot talk about coverage if you're not talking about coverage for everyone. And then they say regardless of their immigration status. But what's interesting is that the people who are undocumented, because of their undocumented condition, they get better healthcare coverage from the state than taxpayers. And taxpayers can barely afford to live. California, one of the most expensive places in the United States to live in. Don't you think that California taxpayers would appreciate a break from paying all of that money? I guarantee you taxpayers in California would love to have that kind of relief. Oh, no, I said it's one of the most expensive. I think New York, New Jersey, and California, I believe, Denise, don't quote me, are the top three. But it might be other places, though. I'm just loosely saying that because I don't have a list in front of me. But that's some of the content that we're going to be talking about in 2024. Shout out to Crew Royalty. What's good with it, bro? Crew Royalty says, just took a tour through Cali. It is lost. As TBA said, it's over. Like Mumbai. Ultra rich, then homeless. Yeah, facts. And like I said, 2024, one of the new series that we're going to be talking about is the Box Bros. And we're going to be expanding on the nationwide homeless crisis and how that coincides with the undocumented bros. They failed to meet their goals in Denver, as far as they wanted to have 1,000 people housed in shelters who were homeless, not including migrants. They failed on that. Now they met all the migrant goals, but failed on the homeless goals. Shout out to Mimi. What's good with it? So now here it says still Newsom has faced pressure to do. Look at this. What more do they need? Still Newsom has faced pressure to do more for undocumented immigrants and to do it faster. Now, let me ask you all a question. Do y'all think that Newsom needs to do more for undocumented immigrants and do it faster? If you guys think that he needs to do more and needs to hurry up and get it done, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, then give me a thumbs down. So now here it says advocates and some legislators lobbied Newsom to roll out this last expansion sooner, in part because of the disproportionate toll C-19 took on essential workers, many of whom are undocumented. Now, how many articles did we see about how C-19 hit Black people? If you guys are confused about any numbers going on with Black people as far as C-19 goes, watch this video all the way through to the end. It'll take you right into the C-19 channel. There's playlists on the C-19 channel where we talk about only C-19. And on many of those videos, we discuss the statistics that the media put out about the way that C-19 was affecting Black people. Just like hate crimes, it showed Black people was being affected the most. Was there any specific legislation for Black people? In the state of Oregon, there was. But guess what? Some good old people of color with some of their PC buddies decided to sue and get the legislation tied up in court. The Washington Post put out an article about that. So get ready to balance your checkbook. This expansion is projected to cost more than $835 million in the next 6 months. If my AdSense ever looks like that, if my AdSense on YouTube is ever $836 million, I'm going to take all of my content that's on members only, on all my channels, off of members only, and you all will never see me ever again. But I wish you all well. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm releasing the content. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like one of those retired heroes. I'm leaving it to y'all. Peace. You know what I'm saying? Because that's jackpot. You know what I'm saying? They want this expansion is projected to cost more than $835 million. Now, mind you, this $835 million is in the next 6 months. So if we assume that this is annual, what is $835 million? Is that 1.7? 1.67 billion dollars? $1.67 billion? All right, I ain't gonna leave. I won't leave, Nisi. I'll make a little podcast. I'll buy a little podcast studio. I'll throw some content up. With $835 million, I could buy a decent podcast studio. I think I could come up with something. We'll come up with something slick. You know what I'm saying? And $2.6 billion every year thereafter. So again, we talked about these figures, but it's just crazy to look at them all in the same paragraph. Previous expansions, which opened the door to more than one. Look at this. Previous expansions opened the door to more than 1.1 million undocumented enrollees, cost the state approximately $1.6 billion annually, according to past legislative analysis office reports. The total $4 billion price tag, though significant, represents a fraction of Medi-Cal's expansive $37 billion budget. Oh, I got you, crew. I'll overpay you with $835 million. Bro, I'll overpay you. You know what I'm saying? We'll be throwing away ducats. The money the return that we get on the content, be able to throw away them ducats. You know what I'm saying? Get you a Maserati or something. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, that's hilarious. So now here it says, still, many undocumented Californians will remain ineligible for health insurance. Roughly 500,000 immigrants make too much money to qualify for Medi-Cal, but still can't afford private insurance. Now, let me ask you guys this. As far as the making too much money part, how many Californians are in this situation? How many actual Californians are in this situation? Forget how many actual Californians. How many people nationwide are in this situation? How many people nationwide are what they call working poor? Let me ask y'all this. Who has ever heard of the term working poor? And what does working poor mean? Advocates want to expand covered California to include that population, but the state's ballooning deficit makes that unlikely in the near future. They're not even thinking about doing anything for California residents that are citizens. Let me ask y'all this question. Shout out to Jazz Terra. What's good with it, bro? When is the last time you all have heard of the California government or any government of any Democrat, liberal, blue area doing anything for the people that live there besides letting police officers who delete black people who are unarmed and running away from the police? Besides that, what have you seen them doing? Like Beanie Siegel, they don't do much. You know what I'm saying? Remember that song Beanie Siegel made? I don't do much. They don't do much. So now here they talking about health disparities amongst undocumented immigrants. Undocumented immigrants often avoid medical care, making it difficult to compare their health to other Californians. Some studies indicate they experience higher rates of chronic conditions like heart disease, asthma, and high blood pressure. Oh, these are the when you have economic issues diseases, the ones that black people been dealing with forever. These are what's called the broke disparities: heart disease, asthma, high blood pressure. You could throw type 2 diabetes in there. Those are the when you have nothing but slop restaurants in your neighborhood diseases. Those are the when you can't afford nothing but sardines and Vienna sausage diseases. Those are poverty-induced diseases. Oh, absolutely, the chair hello user. I agree 100%. If you guys agree with the chair hello user, give me a thumbs up. The chair hello user says, you know good and well, Rob, that the government has selective eyes when it comes to black people. Absolutely. They select the negative things that they put the microscope on to focus on, to try to put us on blast to the rest of the world. And then they select the positive things to pick and attempt to distribute to everybody else and act like somehow everybody else helped us do it because we're not capable of doing anything on our own. The government has a lot of interesting selection tactics. Ironically, the government, who a lot of former employees of the government work for the media, uses the same type of selective magnification and opacity as the media does when it comes to dealing with issues that we have. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says immigrants without legal status in California are also more likely to suffer from mental distress and self-report poor health. Yeah, they probably have mental distress. They're probably paranoid about getting deported. The same way somebody that's selling drugs or somebody that, you know, is on the run from the police is probably anxious as hell, which is a mental issue. You know what I'm saying? It's mental distress, anxiety of getting caught. Yeah. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's par for the course. You know what I mean? Dr. Efrain Talamantes, chief operating officer at Ultimed in Los Angeles, the largest federally qualified health center in California, said he frequently sees young, undocumented individuals who feel healthy but are already having the end damage of chronic conditions that have not been detected. And that's like what your boy Brandon Johnson said. They're coming here sick. The change will allow Talamantes and others to serve those communities to give patients affordable, high-level care. Although California offers, look at this, California offers many undocumented immigrants emergency Medi-Cal, and some counties fund their own programs. So the state offers them these programs, and then if they move into different counties, certain counties offer additional programs in addition to the state. Services can be disjoined with month-long wait times. That's the same thing that people who are citizens go through. How many people have ever been to Job and Family Services, regardless if you was going to get some yamps, if you was going to fill out an unemployment paper, whatever you was doing, Pell Grant, you know what I'm saying, whatever. A lot of times you got to go to the Job and Family Services office. First and foremost, the Job and Family Services office looks like the lobby in the projects. They all got that yellow, ugly tape, hard brick wall. They use the same materials that they use to make the jail cells. And you can tell the same damn architect designs it. You know what I'm saying? They got them old school 80s chairs, those orange ones with the metal legs. You don't sit on one of those and be sore all day. And it takes forever. Literally, in most cases, either the lobby is full or The lobby is all the way out the back door from open to close. Job and Family Services. Imagine that. And now that's in a place where there's not even no migrants. Though you can go to a rural Job and Family Services and it's packed like that. Go to a metro area because it's more tight, more people, is even more busy. Metro area, sanctuary city, psh, man, good luck. You better take a ticket. They better have some type of queuing system. You know what I'm saying? Like when we go to the BMV nowadays, they got these things where you put in your cell phone number and you pull a ticket and they send a text message to your cell phone when it's time for you to be there. They don't even really make you stand in the lobby all like that no more because it's too packed. And that's at the BMV, at the Bureau of Motor Vehicle. Job and Family Services, man, it's done. Call it a day. And on top of it, after C-19, they cut the staff. So it ain't hardly nobody working there. So now you got more people who need Job and Family Services with less the staff. I'm sorry, not less the staff, but with less staff. Shout out to B1 First. What's good with it, bro? So it's crazy. Months-long wait time. It probably wouldn't be months-long wait time if they didn't have all of the undocumented people. If they were actually servicing the people who pay into this, it probably wouldn't be months long. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says when these patients now receive Medi-Cal and are part of a managed healthcare plan with us, then we're responsible for their entire care, from primary and specialty to hospital care, Talamonte said. So that's the spectrum of services that Medi-Cal provides for the undocumented bros of all ages now. Miriam Pozulos is one such person. The Los Angeles area mother said the expansion lifts a huge financial burden from her family. I bet. Imagine now, let me ask you this. Is that giving them room to be able to have resources that other Californians don't have? If all of a sudden, boom, you don't have to worry about healthcare. Does that open the door to be able to invest that money that you were going to spend on healthcare into other things? But then they'll sit there and say these people, you know, they manage their money so good. They're such hard workers. How can you be a hard worker and get this if you're not even working? Somebody make it make sense. So now it says she and her husband pay out of pocket for any medical services and often go without. Literally, so does everybody else. Both have already applied to full scope Medi-Cal for January. When me and my family heard about this expansion, we were just really hoping that it would actually come true, that we can start getting the care that we need and not be worried about, I have to pay this enormous bill, Paluzzo said in Spanish. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, man, but like we all have to pay an enormous bill. How many people do y'all know that got a chronic disease, somebody that you know that got cancer or something like that, and they end up having to go to the hospital, and that entire cancer bill, or if they had a stroke or something like that, that completely took them out. That completely financially took them out the game. They broke now. Or if you got an elderly person in your family that you are not capable of taking care of at home and they got to go to a nursing home, a skilled healthcare facility, or an LTAC or something like that, man, they make you give up. That person got to give up their entire Social Security and all of that. They got to give up everything they work for. Everything they work for. These people don't work 60, 70 years. They got a house paid off. Got to give it all up. I remember when my grandma had got to the point where we couldn't take care of her no more. And my dad and my uncle and my aunt made the decision to get them medical care at a facility. They was trying to do all kind of maneuvers to try to get her house and all that. Thank goodness, you know what I'm saying? My dad up on game and he know what time it is. He was like, nah, y'all ain't getting the house. Y'all crazy. But they was trying to do that. They was trying to run that game. These people don't have to never worry about that. And then they'll sit there and act like they don't understand how generational wealth building either occurs or doesn't occur. When we're literally watching the manufacture of another artificial middle class here in the United States. They already manufactured the first middle class. Now they fitting to manufacture the new middle class. The same way they manufactured a bottom class. This is the manufacture of a new middle class. This is quantitative easing. Artificial inflation of value. It's ridiculous. Back at St. John's Community Health Benefit Center, Lopez helps another undocumented immigrant renew his emergency Medi-Cal, which will automatically roll over to full scope next month. Wilder, who is 41, requested that his last name be withheld to protect him from immigration authorities. Again, you're in California. Being in California is already protection from immigration authorities. Let me ask y'all this. If you're in a sanctuary city, is that protection from immigration authorities? Like, Chicago got the Safety Act. The law enforcement in these sanctuary cities and states don't cooperate when they enforce USCIS laws. What more protection do you need? He said he needs 2 root canals that total $8,000. He has searched for months for a cheaper option without success, Wilder said. He also needs medication for high blood pressure, but can't always afford it. You know one thing? You know what you could do for high blood pressure? You could take $10 and go to Planet Fitness, get you a membership, and get on a treadmill every day. That's one thing that'll help high blood pressure. For $10. In insurance language, they call that the quote-unquote low option. The Medi-Cal expansion means he'll finally be able to take care of his health, he said. Now, listen, I'm not trying to be funny, but if for an entire year I was tracking through the jungle and swinging from trees like Mobley across the Darien Gap, man, I would be in this bad boy looking like a chiseled god. Like, that's how my body responds to difficult tasks. If I'm wading through barbed wire and basically going through a life or death CrossFit course up 6 countries from the southern to northern hemisphere, I'm going to come through here, man. I'm going to look chiseled as hell. Matter of fact, if I had to do that type of obstacle course, by the time I get here, I'm not even trying to get no regular job. Where's the UFC at? Where the Ultimate Fighter at? I'm about to try out for that. Like, seriously? That don't make no, like, that's crazy. This is crazy. So the next thing that we about to do is we about to look at, let me see, hold on real quick. Let me see. You know what? We'll just look at this real quick. Shout out to Torian. What's good with it, bro? I just want to show y'all this headline right here. And let me see. I'll put the link in the chat. Let me see. This right here is from July 27th of 2021. Governor Newsom signs law first in nation, expansion of Medi-Cal to undocumented Californians age 50 and older. Bold initiatives to advance more equitable and prevention focused based care. Now, my question is, how is it equitable if the people of California don't even have access to this? The taxpayers that's paying for it. Make it make sense. This is crazy. This is now they talk about like Democrat extremism. It would be different if they had universal health care and they had universal health care to every resident of California. And then after they serviced every resident of California and made sure that everybody in California who pays into this was healthy. Listen, I'm going to explain it like this. Imagine if you paid stock, if you bought into a company, right? Let's say, for instance, you bought 50 shares of a company. And you're expecting them to take that $50 of equity that you purchased and invest into the company. That's what's supposed to be happening with the tax dollars. That's why we are called social securities, because we are the securities that are paying the financial value of this country. Social security. That is why your social security number is also called your taxpayer ID, because that number is linked to the total amount of money that you will make over your life that you're reinvesting into the United States. You know what I'm saying? Social security. If you go and buy a financial security, you can buy a bond, you can buy a stock, you can buy an option, you can buy whatever. Those are financial securities. You are a social security. You know why? Because your life, you as a part of society, secure the reoccurring money that the United States has to continue to operate. You are literally paying into the United States. Just like we pay tax money, we're supposed to be paying into the Social Security Fund. Now we don't get it no more. You know what I'm saying? No, but now imagine if any other business did this. Imagine if any other business operated like the United States Corporation of America. Imagine if XYZ Corporation took your $50 of investment and just gave it to something that you voted against, because, you know, as a shareholder, you hold a vote the same way as a Social Security, you have a vote. You know what I'm saying? Now, here in the United States, the Social Securities are voting. Doesn't matter. Imagine if you voted, the board of directors voted for a CEO who would be the president, chief executive officer, to do one thing. And the president said, nah, I'm going to do something else. Listen, we want 20% of revenues to go into gene studies. That's what we voted for at the fourth quarter meeting. Nah, I'm going to invest it into artificial intelligence. You had a 55% vote that told you to invest 20% of revenues into genetics. You didn't listen to your shareholders. Let me ask you guys a question. To the people that pay attention to business, what happens to CEOs when they don't pay attention to their shareholders? If you are a taxpayer here in the United States, that makes you a shareholder. When is the last time the chief executive officer of the United States did what the shareholders asked him to do? Shout out to Jazz Terra. Jazz Terra says artificial intelligence will target us. Artificial intelligence will target us if it's artificial intelligence that's created and programmed by WS. There was a situation in Chicago that took place where there was an elderly man that ended up doing an entire year in jail because of artificial intelligence crime prevention service called ShotSpotter miscalculated the trajectory of a bullet. But now, if we mentally and socially and generationally invest in STEM and somehow are able to get a sizable amount of market share in artificial intelligence, we can program that artificial intelligence to do what we want it to do. Now, if you want to program that artificial intelligence to be nice, good artificial intelligence, or if you want to program that artificial intelligence to have a B1 bias, either way, I ain't gonna be mad at you. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, what happened with the Tesla bot? It attacked an employee. All these artificial intelligence, they all go rogue. They all go rogue, all of them. I got a series on here called Auditing Artificial Intelligence. It's a playlist. Y'all should watch it if y'all get time. Shout out to Dr. Grant. What's good with it, Dr. Grant? So this is ridiculous. Again, when is the last time that you've seen the quote-unquote CEO of the United States service the shareholders of the United States, which would be the taxpayers, which would be the citizens, which would be us? And you know they got a social order of how they deal with that based on race, certain people first, until we change that. So here's the key facts on the health coverage of immigrants. And again, this should say undocumented. Now, it says as of 2022, there were 45.5 million immigrants residing in the United States, including 21.2 million non-citizen immigrants, 24.2 million naturalized citizens who accounted for about 7% of the total population. Non-citizens include lawfully present and undocumented immigrants, which is the reason why they mixed the number like that. Many individuals live in mixed immigration status families that may include lawfully present immigrants, undocumented immigrants, and or citizens. So now again, these mixed families, what's the difference between some of these families and harboring a fugitive? What's the difference between these families and harboring a fugitive? 1 in 4 children has an immigrant parent, including over 1 in 10, who is 12%, who are citizen children with at least one non-citizen parent. The fact sheet provides an overview of health coverage for immigrants based on data from the 2023 KFF LA Times survey of immigrants, the largest nationally representative survey focused on immigrants. As of 2023, half, 50% of likely undocumented immigrant adults and 1 in 5, which is 18%, lawfully present immigrants adults report being uninsured, compared to less than 1 in 10 naturalized citizens and U.S. born citizens, 8% of U.S. adults. Why are they even comparing undocumented people to American citizens? Yeah, I agree, Days. That's big facts. Some of these people are fugitive, if not most or all. Big facts. Some states have expanded access to health coverage for immigrants. So, as you guys can see right here, this part of this graph here is US born citizens. The total population is 324.5 million. Then 7% is non-immigrants. 7% are naturalized citizen immigrants. So non-citizen immigrants make up the same percentage of naturalized citizen immigrants, which is crazy. So this graph is important right here because this is uninsured rates by immigration status. I don't know why we're looking at this like it doesn't make sense that undocumented people will be the most uninsured. They don't have documents. They don't have any records. Also, a lot of undocumented people, as you can see, they're trying to stay off the radar. So because they're trying to stay off the radar, they're not going to be providing their documents. So it says, although the majority of uninsured people are, look at this, the majority of uninsured people are citizens. And they're look, like shout out to Carla. What's good with it, Carla? The majority of uninsured people are citizens, but you see who they're making a pathway for to be able to get health insurance. Make it make sense. Like, this is crazy. We're going to skip down here. Now, check this out. State-funded coverage for immigrant children and adults in July of 2023. So, the blue states let me see. Hold on real quick. Okay, so not right here, these are the states that have state-funded coverage for immigrant children and adults. Now, the blue states have state-funded coverage for children and adults. So New York, Oregon, California, and Colorado. Illinois has it, but the enrollment is closed. Now, for children, Washington has it, Oregon has it, California has it, Colorado has it, Illinois has it, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Maine. State-funded coverage for immigrant children and adults. So now this is where, now remember, Illinois, New York, and Colorado, they're all having issues right now. Because that's where all of these people are going with that sanctuary status. And again, per this report, I want to make sure that y'all got this. Per this report, the majority of uninsured people here in the United States are citizens. So make it make sense. So here's the conclusion. Although the majority of immigrants are working non-citizen immigrants, particularly those who are likely undocumented, have high uninsured rates due to more limited access to both public and private coverage. Federal legislation has been proposed that would expand immigrant eligibility for health coverage, though there is no clear path to passage in Congress. So, just so you guys know, the federal government is also planning on doing this. So, now if the federal government does this, who's going to be paying the bill? If the federal government decides to go ahead with this initiative, who's going to be paying the bill? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate each and every one of you all who is in here. I definitely appreciate it. And shout out to y'all. Y'all been showing love. I definitely appreciate it as well. You know what I'm saying? We got 93 likes. If everybody could take a moment and smash that like button and get us to 115, that would be great. Yeah, we are going to be paying the tax dollars if they get this passed. And you know they're going to push for it. Federal legislation has been proposed that would expand immigrant eligibility for health coverage, though there is no clear path to passage in Congress. In the absence of federal action, some states are filling in gaps to access coverage for immigrants. Now, that would be nice if the federal government decided to pay foundational Black Americans reparations, and while that was being processed, the states just decided to jump in line and start paying what they owe. That would be nice. I guarantee you could sign the check for that just as easy as you can sign the check for this. However, many remain ineligible for coverage options, contributing to barriers to access and use of care. Those eligible for coverage also face an array of barriers to enrollment, including fear and confusion about eligibility. Now, look, they confused about eligibility. They confused about the immigration laws. They confused about how they got here. They confused about what state they in. Literally, every time we talk about this situation with a lot of these people, they're literally confused about everything. But somehow they managed to navigate through a jungle here. I'm not confused about anything, and I couldn't navigate through a jungle there. How many people have planned a complicated trip, traveling somewhere? It's difficult enough getting plane tickets, getting a rental car, getting a hotel, making arrangements at a restaurant. That's difficult enough. Imagine hiking through the damn jungle without no cell phone, barefoot, with anacondas and alligators. I guarantee you that's more difficult than using Expedia. You can do that level of difficulty, but you can't do this level of difficulty. Like I don't understand. Like the skills don't translate. It don't make any sense. The Biden administration has made changes. Like listen, let me ask y'all this. How many of y'all had to crawl under razor wire to get through TSA when you was going through to the airport? Did anybody had to crawl under any of that Greg Abbott razor wire that they had? Did y'all have that at the airport, or did you have it at the rental car place? In order to get to the cash register, you got to move the two razor wires out the way and then get to the cash register and ring up and run your credit card. I've never had to do that. But this is literally the steps that a lot of these people did to get into the United States. And then once you get here, simple tasks you're confused about. Come on, man. The Biden, oh, there we go. Look who did it. The Biden administration has made changes to public charge policies that are intended to reduce fears of enrolling in health coverage. So again, now when they say public charge policies, they're talking about the government charging them for a crime. You know what I'm saying? That's what they mean. So again, all this acting like they don't want to give their names and all this. If you're in a sanctuary city, you ain't got to worry about none of that. Look at this. I'm finna show y'all this. You see this right here? Public charge ground of inadmissibility. Can y'all see that? The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is amending its regulations to prescribe how it determines whether non-citizens are admissible to the United States because they are likely at any time to become a public charge. Non-citizens who are applicants for visa, admissions, and adjustment of status must establish that they are not likely at any time to become a public charge unless Congress has expressly exempted them from this ground of inadmissibility or otherwise permitted them to seek a waiver of inadmissibility. Under this rule, DHS would determine that a citizen is not likely at any time to become a public charge if the non-citizen is likely at any time to become primarily dependent on the government for substance. So you're not going to get in trouble if you can't take care of yourself and the government is taking care of you. So once you get in here and get signed up on Medicaid, you good. This is demonstrated by either the receipt of public cash assistance for income maintenance or long-term institutionalization at government expense, i.e. a government-funded migrant center. Or shit, a jail or a mental hospital. Or a humanitarian crisis facility. So all you got to do is show the receipt of your cash that you was getting and you good. Which again, remember, they don't get cash. They're hard workers. So there's that. So we're going to go back over here real quick. So again, all of this fear of acting like, oh, we don't want to, we don't want to give our last name or nothing like that. Man, they can go ahead and get a last name. They're not going to get in trouble anyway. And they know they're not going to get in trouble. So this is what we just read. The Biden administration has made changes to public charge policies that are intended to reduce fears of enrolling in healthcare coverage and accessing care and increased funding for outreach and enrollment assistance. So they're paying more money to make it easier for them to get access to more money, which may help eligible immigrant families enroll and stay enrolled in coverage. However, immigrants continue to have significant confusion around public change rules, highlighting the importance of outreach and enrollment assistance. There's people here in the United States that have just as much difficulty filing taxes, but they'll lock you up in jail before they help you get your taxes filed. Including community-led efforts to rebuild trust and reduce fears among immigrant families about accessing health coverage. What do they mean, rebuild trust? You don't have any trust because you've never had experience in this country. You're new here. You're building your trust, not rebuilding it. You're building it. You don't have any existing trust because you're new to the American society. This is crazy. An extensive report, you know what I'm saying, on all of the handouts that Joe Biden and the Democrats are given to the undocumented bros that Fox News forgot to report about because somebody mentioned reparations, because they're so sensitive to mentioning reparations. But don't even worry about it. That's what y'all got me for. So now you know. And like they said on G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle. This is something else they said on G.I. Joe.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots!
So, ladies and gentlemen, I really, 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 really wish you all the best in closing out 2023 and a massive, positive, and powerful start to 2024. I want to shout out everybody who contributed to the stream, which don't get it twisted. All 74 of y'all contributed to the stream. But we talking about them ducats. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DSB. Shout out to Denise. Shout out to Cole Obsidian Plays for gifting the membership. Shout out to Kiko. Shout out to Dora Mahali. Shout out to Mike TV. And shout out to Mike TV again. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat. Make sure you guys watch this stream all the way through to the end. It'll take you into the next stream, which will be tomorrow morning. And we're going to be talking about some new updates with C19 and possibly some streams later on that day. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on money, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that face. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him.